Hi there, I'm Michelle Frost, the host of the Fit Mind, Fit Body podcast. Welcome to the Delirious West series, where we follow everyday runners preparing for the Delirious West 100 and 200 mile events in April 2025. In today's update, we'll check in with one of our athletes to hear how their training is progressing, the challenges they're facing, and the victories that keep them moving forward. Whether you're training for your first ultra or simply enjoy inspiring stories, you're in the right place. Let's dive in and see how our athlete is doing this month. Today on Fit Mind, Fit Body, we are checking in with another one of our absolutely crazy, delirious athletes, Gabe Alves. How are you?
I'm good, Michelle. How are you?
Really good. I keep thinking we're all a bit crazy, but it's a good crazy.
Well, the insanity is pretty close now.
I know. At the time of this recording, what are we, 4 and a bit weeks or something silly?
Yes. I think I'll be in the car driving down today in 5 weeks.
5 weeks. Oh, that sounds better. I was
right.
Stealing a week. Stop it.
Just an extra week there, bonus.
Oh, I feel so much better now. I've got an extra week to actually do some planning. Anyway, how about you? What's going on? How's the last 4 weeks gone? Or so?
Last 4 weeks. It's been a bit of a mixed bag, I think.
Oh, do tell.
Yes. Well, I think when we spoke last time, I was going to go out and do like a full day run with a mate of mine. Yeah, and test a few things. So we did that, and that was interesting.
Okay.
So we started running at about 9 in the morning, and we'd set up. I've got an outdoor area at my house, and we just set that up as a bit of an aid station.
Yeah.
Had all that stuff there.
Yeah.
And we decided we'd just go out and do 20 Ks, come back, then do maybe 10 and 15, and just kind of mix it up, keep coming back.
Yeah.
It was a scorching hot day, probably at least 38, and a bit of humidity and anyway, it started well enough, and then did our first 20 Ks, did a bit of out and back, and we went out again, and my mate, he knows who he is. He goes, I can't wait for your next podcast, Gabe, because I want to see what you say about what happened.
Well, here it is.
So here we are, John. We're probably out about, we're going to do a 10K loop with about 300 meters of vert in it. And we're about halfway out, and he just crashed, completely just ground to a halt. Was pretty miserable. Not that he's ever a miserable bloke, but he just all his energy, he just absolutely hit the wall. And then he starts saying, "Okay, we're done, Gabe. We're done. We're gonna let's get back, and then you can just carry on your own, and I'll just And so it was all the negative talk came out, and I said, "Come on, John. We're just, as long as it takes. We've got no timeline. Let's go. Let's get back." So I think it took us maybe an hour and a half to get back the last 5 Ks. So it took us a while. And anyway, he was pretty adamant that he was done. And the weekend before, I think I might have mentioned to you that I had crashed, and I was actually in the same sort of area. And I used that as a bit of a learning thing. So I said, John, well, let's give it a go, because he started to say, because he's doing the 200 miler as well. And he's like, I am so underdone. I haven't trained. And so I was like, come on, man, let's give this a go. Let's see if we can recover. So anyway, we sat there for an hour and a half, and I think he drank like a litre of lemonade and then a choc milk, and over the period of the time, he completely came back, not to 100%. Yeah. But we waited there until he basically felt good enough to go, and off we went again. And then we carried on until about 12:30 at night. And so we knocked out 65 Ks.
Go, John.
Which was pretty good. It was good, and it was really good too, and it was really good learning for me as well, as a good reminder that you can be in an absolute hole, but you can still dig yourself out of it. You just got to be patient and work through the problem, and then you'll be right. And so at 12 6:30-ish, we stopped and said, right, we're going to go sleep for 4 hours. And we set up he bought his little swag, and I just set up a camping cot under the patio outside, and we just, went to bed and said, right, set the alarm for 5 o'clock and we'll get up and go do another 23 Ks. So we did that, and he was out. He just slept straight away, and I couldn't sleep.
Oh.
I'm lying there feeling really tired and not able to sleep, and it must have been, my watch told me I had about an hour worth of sleep.
Wow.
By the time the alarm went off at 5 o'clock and we got up.
Good replication of the event.
Yeah. So I've got a few thoughts about that and how do I fix that. But we got up and the legs felt great, and off we went, and did another 23 Ks with 700 meters of vert in that.
Oh, wow.
And we finished up at around, I think it was about 10:30 in the morning the next day. So it was good. We did almost 90 Ks, about 88 Ks, I think it was.
That's amazing.
And felt really good. And and I got to mention this too, because it's a good learning for John. When we left in the morning, I don't know what happened, actually we do know what happened. We walked through it and figured it out. But we were literally about 500 meters from my house after we'd left in the morning to go out for our second stint. And then I turn around and he's throwing his guts up on the side.
Oh.
Just everything. It was just, it was full on. And I'm like, John, what's going on? And he's like, I don't know. But I'm like, rah! And off he goes again.
Poor John.
And and anyway, so he felt fine afterwards. And so it's like, well, what did you eat? And so he started ticking off the things that he'd eaten. And I don't know, it's like he had eaten everything on the shelf. It was salty. It was everything from chopped milk to energy gels to coffee to I think there was 10 different things that he had just been eating over the course of getting ready. He just kept eating these different things, and his stomach just totally
gave up to stop it.
But then he was fine, and we carried on and did the whole 23 Ks, no problem. So
wow.
So at the end of it, he said to me, he goes, I'm really glad I did this, because yesterday I thought that I was so underdone, and what was I doing trying to do this race? And he goes, now having got through that, I don't feel so bad, and I've learned a lot. So I learned a lot by watching John, which was great.
Yes, got a sense of confidence from John.
Yeah. And the sleep thing.
It's tricky, isn't it?
Yeah. And I was talking to Belinda, my wife, about it, and I said, maybe what I need to do is that if I'm not tired enough, particularly on that first night, if I don't feel that tired, maybe I just carry on to the next aid station. And even if it's 3 in the morning or 4 in the morning, I sleep then and maybe sleep into the morning a little bit, even if there's a bit of an overlap there. Yeah. Because I'm trying to plan my sleep for the early hours of the morning.
That's what I was thinking too, like a dark sleep when it's dark, but that kind of bewitching hour, that sort of, it's after midnight and in that kind of time, I was thinking.
That's my plan. And to be able to kind of almost get up and then go with the dawn. So you might be tired, but you get the hit from the sun coming up, and that's my loose plan at the moment. But I think I just have to, and the first night's going to be tough because the adrenaline and, you still got your first day of energy. So
you got to try and sleep somehow.
Yes. So look, that went pretty well.
Wow. It's an interesting lesson that not feeling like your body wants to give up, like how John would have felt when the energy is completely gone. Yeah. And yet, after an hour and a half of refueling and having a little bit of a rest, you can actually get going again. I think that's great, because we've talked about it from the perspective of when your brain wants to give up, which is what happens to us all the time. We get those thoughts, but we realise, most of us who've been doing any kind of distance or endurance stuff, that goes. It comes and it goes and it comes back again to tell you that you need to stop. But you can get to the other side of it. But sometimes with physical stuff, especially if it's not injury, related, that's going to pull you out, but it's something that you can actually deal with out there on the course, like refueling and resting a bit.
Yep.
It's good it's amazing to hear that story, because for those of us who may end up doing something like that, who knows? It's good to know there are, you feel like you can't keep going physically, not
Yep.
so much the mentally thing, because that's a whole other story. But you can understand, do things and make it happen again.
And it's almost, because when you're in it, if you haven't been there before, you think you're done.
Yes.
And if you're going to do something, a shorter distance, whether it's a half marathon or a marathon, you probably go, okay, that's it. My race is over. I'm walking away. But to know that you can, like, it's possible. And it's actually not that difficult. You just got to give yourself the time to troubleshoot and work through it.
Yeah,
I think
just have the right
having that option in your head to go, this is not the end.
Exactly, that kind of ray of hope. It's like a little bit of sunshine in there, isn't there?
And this is why I chose to do this race.
I know, in just a little 8K race, because the club that I belong to here, we have races, like 20 races a year. They're just handicapped, and I've been doing them since I was in my 20s. So it's like stuff I already know. I've done pretty much all of the courses. I have done all of them till we put new ones in, because I'm on the committee. So there's an 8K race that I did a few years ago, and I got on the way back, I was probably about the 6K mark, and I had to stop and walk, and then I started running again, and then I had to stop again, and I was like, "What is going on?" I was in tears, and I don't cry very, like, anyway, not like that.
Yeah.
And it turned out I have very low iron stores, so that.
Right.
So I understand that feeling that John would have had. Like, I have no energy. Like, I just couldn't. I couldn't run. I could walk, but I couldn't run. So for me, I have to work out. Like, I know that now, so it's knowledge that I can take with me, and I've got to take my special iron tablets. I've got to get my iron checked before I go to make sure my stores are high enough, because this event will get into those iron stores. So I need to make sure that I'm not, that I don't get so far into the iron stores that I don't have any left, because my body doesn't fill it up very easily. And it probably, and in an event like this, it wouldn't. So learning that stuff now before you hit it is really wise. And I love what you guys did. It makes me think I need to go out there and do something more than my 3 or 4 hours in a row.
I think that's why, it's one of the reasons why I love the sport so much, right? It's
so much to learn.
You could be running your entire life and you're still learning new things. Still figuring out new things on how your body, and I guess because your body's changing as well, right? Yes. As you get older, but it's that constant learning new things. Yes, as we get older. Yep.
Damn it. But yes.
But no, that, and you get the confidence from going through the shit. Right? You've got to.
Yeah. I love it.
So that was a good start to the month.
Yeah, it does. It sounds like it was great for you, and started off not so good for John, but then developed into something which was quite a good confidence booster for him. So that's great. Yeah. I love that.
Yeah, I suspect John and I are going to spend quite a bit of time together on the trail.
Yeah.
He was the a pacer for me in last year for Delirious, so he knows what it's like to be with me when we're both pretty ragged. So,
that's good.
So after that, training was pretty good. And then I've given myself a little injury on my right. I think it's like my right hamstring there. And I was out running with my son, and I don't know what I did. I didn't feel anything at the time, but the next day I'm like, oh, this is a bit sore. So I've kind of backed off a bit. And then last week I had a whole bunch of travel. So I was traveling over to Adelaide for work, and I just went, I'm just going to stay off completely. So I didn't really do any running at all last week.
Awesome.
But as part of this, I guess, program that I was with, they had some yoga and stand-up paddleboarding. So I've managed to do some cross-training last week. I'm sure which you'll be happy to know.
Good.
Did some yoga. And I've never done that before in my life, so that was interesting. And I've never done stand-up paddleboarding in my life before either. So
I'm useless at that.
2 first things from last week, which was quite entertaining.
How did you find it? Did you fall in a lot with the stand-up paddleboarding?
No, well, I got on it and I'm just like, man, this is a workout, just trying to keep my balance. And then I was out there for about an hour, and after about half an hour, this other lady, she's like just strolling around on her board, super comfortable.
And easy.
And she says, Gabe, just move your weight back about a foot on the board. And I was like, just step back a foot. So I did that. And then, it was just instantly easy. It was like I was tipping forward and the balance was all out. I was on the wrong spot on the board. And as soon as I did that, I'm like, oh, look at that. That's way easier.
It's my problem maybe. And I never went out on particularly calm water.
We're pretty lucky. It was the ocean, but it was a pretty calm day. It was a nice morning.
That's awesome. Yeah. So how's your injury now? How's your niggle? We'll call it
it's still there. So I've changed because we're only 5 weeks out. I've been for a couple of runs the last few days, just keeping them short. Mm-hmm. So my plan has now switched to, I'm already, in my head I'm thinking, okay, I'm already in the race.
Yeah.
I've got to switch to just troubleshooting and surviving now. Like forget about trying to do any more hard training. Mm-hmm. It's about getting to that start line now in the best shape that I can. So I think I'm just going to try and run every day, even if it's just 5Ks or even if it's just a walk.
Yeah.
And just focus on
moving forward.
I've got 5 weeks. I think most things recover in sort of 4 to 6 weeks, right? So
that's what I hear.
Yeah, that's when the doctor says, give it 6 weeks off.
And you go, no, I can't do this. It's too long. But in this case, it's acceptable.
Yeah. So it's a little bit. I had some grand plans for doing a lot more decent runs on the weekends over this final month. To sort of about 3 weeks out, but I guess I'm starting my taper early.
I just do what I'm told. Like I just do what the coach says, and then when I get a niggle, I kind of ignore it a bit, and mostly it goes away. Depends. Or I go to physio.
I guess my my wife is my voice of reason.
Yes.
And she's like, "Go, don't push it. You'll regret it."
Well, that's right. You want to get to the start line in best condition possible, don't you?
Yeah, and someone said to me the other day, "Oh, you really think you should do this race?" I'm like, "Yeah." Like, I'm not letting this stop me. Come on.
Who says things like that?
Even if it's still hurting, I'm still going to start this damn race.
That's right. Exactly. That's what I'm thinking with my things. So how's your preparing, apart from your body, how's your preparing going? Like, I've got heaps of that kind of stuff. I've been shopping. I had a call to Stuart the other day, and that turned out to be a shopping call because we talked about all the things we'd bought, and he even had something turn up during the call. So we had to talk about that. Oh, blister stuff, because he's been also getting it from the blister prevention. Was it? It was you who mentioned Engo, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that's the stuff. Yeah,
the blister patch stuff. So I need to get some more of that, I think. So very good. So thank you. He was getting something from the blisterprevention.com people.
Yep.
AU maybe. Anyway.
Yeah, that's been pretty good. Gee, I watched Stu's video.
Yes.
And I heard parts of it, but when you see someone else's experience close up, you're just like, oh.
That's how I felt watching your video, by the way, Gabe.
I did watch. I said to Belinda, let's come and watch Stu's video because I just watched it. Come watch it with me. Mm-hmm. And I said, 'cause it was pretty cool. And I said, maybe we should watch mine again and see if we can remember anything of what we need to do. Like maybe it prompts us to. So we watched prep. And I was like, oh man, this was. Yeah, it was brutal. I'd forgotten about that and that and that.
I know. It made me feel quite nervous. And I watched Stuart's one just before going to sleep. And then it kind of went into my dreams. I was like, oh no, blisters and moving. Because when you're thinking, at least the way I think about these things is when the event is just going to be nice and smooth, and it'll just be like one aid station to another aid station, and you don't really focus when you at this point. We don't really focus in what we know will be uncomfortable times and not fun elements to it. But the thing that gets us to the line is it's just going to be like all flowy and fun and the nicer parts of running. It's not going to be like you don't focus on the negative stuff. Or at least I don't. I just focus on that positive stuff. But watching those videos reminds me that there's all this negative stuff.
But I guess that's the appeal of it too, right? Because we're doing something hard.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
And you don't know what it's like there's all these little adventures lined up for each of us, and we've all got a different one, and we don't know what it's
even
going
in
to
the same
be.
event, it's all going to be different for every one of
Yeah,
us. So
and it's
true.
like, which adventure am I going to get?
Yeah,
How tough is my journey going to be
exactly.
over this 4 or 5 days?
I know.
And I guess that's the thing. Everyone gets to the end with a story.
They do.
But it's like, which one am I going to get? I hope it's not too bad. Even though the story's better, the worse it is. But,
So you're recording yours this year round?
I am. Yeah. Yeah. So I got to, well, it's my redemption video, right? I've got to get to the end.
Yes, you do.
Stu's got the same thing. Yeah. He's got to do it too. So,
well, I don't want to have a redemption one. Who said the other day? I think it was Del said, well, then you'll have to come back next year and do the double, whatever she called it.
The double plugger, yeah, do it twice.
Plugger, that's all right, that's it. So it won't be that in my redemption run. If I do it again next year, it'll be because I have to go too, apparently. So, but we'll see.
Well, as far as planning goes, we've done our final tweaks on the Bible. The Bible is our booklet that's got all the aid stations laid out into it and all the stuff. And Belinda likes to be super organised, as I think I mentioned last time.
You did.
So we've tweaked all that and adjusted it, and she has, it looks awesome. I mean, she's a graphic designer, so it has to look awesome. But it is really cool, and it makes me feel a lot more comfortable that she's got everything in control.
I do wonder, talking about organised people, is there any problem being that the organised person is the runner versus the crew not as organised as the runner? I'm the organised person. Simon, well, I'll just tell him what to do, but he's just not as organised, I don't think, as me. So hopefully that'll still work out okay if I'd organise well enough in advance.
Yeah, well, there's a couple of, because, Belinda gets just as tired, right? So
yes, that's what I was worried about too.
And I said to her, look, this plan is great, but it's all going to go out the window the first day. Like, the timing's all going to shift and stuff's going to happen, and it's all there. And I said, do we really want this much detail in it? And her methodology is more about, I want to have it exactly as we planned so that I know what to ask you as we go along, because I'll forget, she's got a list of all the things that I'll have to leave the aid station with and come in with, and just so I don't have to think about what to prompt you. So I'm like, okay. Because even if you say no to all of them, I'm okay with that. But at least I know I haven't forgotten.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah. I'd probably be like her then. Not as pretty because I'm not a graphic designer, but I think I will. I haven't really started. I've thought about it a lot. I need to actually do something, but I will. So you've got your Bible. What about, is there things you still need to purchase and, put in your stores, or you have most of it already, that kind of?
Yeah, well, I've just ordered another bladder, so that should come hopefully in the next week or so.
Yeah.
Picked up my batteries this weekend, the lithium batteries.
Yeah.
So a few of those little bits.
I think Shannon's got mine for me, which is nice.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll wait for them to come out on special, $17.50 or whatever it is for the pack.
From Bunnings.
Yeah, so we just went through, all the mandatory gear, made sure we had all that. I think we're pretty much there. The next thing I need to do is now pack my pack, put everything in it.
Yep.
And with all the stuff, the final stuff I want to do, and all the spares, and I always get crap from Bill. She says, I thought running was a cheap sport. You just get a pair of shoes and go running, right? She's like, this is so damn expensive. I said, I know. It's just so much to buy.
And then you have to double up in case something breaks. So that's you've got to get that expensive thing, and then something that you can use in case that expensive thing breaks. So.
Yeah, all those what ifs, and what about that, and what about that?
That's right. I'm sure I'll have to get some things.
I'm trying to think of what else we got. There's a few little, she said, I want to know how you tape your feet. So just for not strapping them, but just to fix them all. Yeah. And I think we're close. I think we're really close. Yep.
That's good.
It's a bit real now.
I don't tape my feet. So Yeah, and I do get some blisters. That website was particularly good, the blister prevention one. She's got some great videos on there. I
Yeah.
plan to spend some time looking at it and maybe putting some, because I do have some wool, for example. Don't have
Yep.
any fix them all, but obviously have the blister patches and I already put some in my shoes.
Yep.
So I did think I should probably put some of the blister prevention stuff in, like the wool, for example. I've got toe socks before I do some of my long runs. I've got to do a couple of 3-hour ones this weekend.
Yep.
Because then that would be a good kind of time to get out there and test some of that and make sure I'm not causing more rubbing places by doing it.
Well, I've got the creeper socks.
Yes, I got
those wool socks from New Zealand, and I've actually just replaced them all because they actually deteriorate.
Oh, mine are new. So, well, 3 of them are anyway. I've got 2 old ones.
Yes. Yeah, mine are quite old, and I've noticed that the pilling and they start to get a bit, they don't work as well.
Yeah.
So I've got a new set of those that arrived a couple of weeks ago. So I'm going to have nice fresh ones.
So
which is good.
Yep. Who was it? I think it was Glenn was saying he puts like BB cream or whatever all over, so he lubricates his toes all up. I guess didn't find out if he uses toe socks or not. Anyway, to try and stop as a blister prevention type of thing for his toes. Is that what you do? You do that kind of thing? What do you do?
No, I get blisters on the outside of my heel and on my little toe, kind of like a pinch one there. So I'll tape the toes, put 2 or 3 layers of the Fixamol on, and then I'll also tape around my heel just to spread the load.
Yeah.
And then each time I do a sock change, I'll retape. I'll pull it all off and retape it all.
And do it again.
The Fixamol wears away and just like disintegrates. So I'll keep redoing that and wash my feet. But the other thing I'm going to do, which is a tip that Aaron Young gave me a year or 2 ago, which is in the last sort of 3 or 4 weeks leading up to it, I will use grind off any callus that I've got. I don't have a lot of callus left because I've been doing it for a while, and then moisturize my feet every night.
To make them nice and soft.
Really soften it up, and that makes a big difference.
That's a great idea.
So I'll do that every day for 3 or 4 weeks leading up to Delirious.
Yeah, so that stops some of the friction. Well, that's kind of what the lady talks about on that website, is what causes blisters is the friction. So you're trying to do anything you can to reduce the friction. And she even
it's the shear between the layers of skin. So I think the softer and more flexible all those layers of skin are, the more it's going to give before it shears and creates the little
nasties. The nasty little things, blisters.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
Yeah. So I've got
I like that.
Yeah, the end's in sight. Everything's just about lined up, and
the beginning and the end. The beginning of the event and the end of the event is in sight.
Yeah, it's kind of that. As part of my life's broken into 2 parts. I've got before Delirious and I've got after Delirious.
Yeah, me
and I've got
too.
things that are happening in work and stuff like that, and that's before Delirious. And I've got other things that are happening, and I know that's after Delirious. Yeah. It's quite funny. It's got this big defining line.
Very delineal.
Yes. Okay. When I doing that? Oh, that's after. Okay, and that's before. And okay.
I've got this because, like you, a lot of mine is on the computer, and some of it is very brain driven. Like I have to use my brain a lot, and some of it's quite automatic, depending on what I'm doing. But the things that are leading up to it, I'm like, oh, if it gets I'll be too busy. Like my brain is going to be so busy getting ready for it. Even though I may not be doing anything, my brain will be full of what have I forgotten, trying to, mental lists and stuff. And so I'll be almost useless in a few more weeks. And then afterwards, I'm like, well, yeah, I'll be okay about 2 or 3 weeks. Because again, it's that recovery thing. Like the actual event itself physically can take a long time to recover. Although talking to you guys, you always seem to be off doing the next thing within minutes of just finishing something epic. It's like, I don't know when some of you will recover. But for me, I know I will need a little bit of time.
Well, it took me 6 weeks to run again after the last one, but that was my injury on my knee.
Yeah, of course.
It's just, that's part of it. I don't know. Like I might.
Yeah.
I think, feral pig 100 miler, the next week I carried on running and that was great.
Mm-hmm.
But Delirious last year was 8 weeks of not much fun. So I don't know. Like, that's part of the adventure. This is the special adventure that's been lined up for me, Michelle, and I have no idea what it is. Can't wait.
Me too, and neither do I. And yes, it's very exciting, not knowing what's going to happen. But I do know my brain won't be working very well for a few days after, because I'll be quite tired, I think.
So don't schedule any podcasts for immediately after.
Exactly. That's kind of what I was thinking. So we will all need to get on like a week after or something, or at least a few days. Because then Easter pops up, so we'll work it out anyway. It'll all be fine.
So are we talking again before
Would
the
you
event?
like to? We can, because I don't even leave Tasmania for 4 weeks from now-ish. So we've got plenty of time. So you can book another one in and we can check in to see how your little niggle is.
Yeah, we can do a quick check maybe a week before. Gee, it'll be real then. It's real enough now.
Then I'll be like...
So are you all set? Are you all...
I don't know. I've got a niggle that's coming as well, because I've had a burst. I think that's like you. I always think of you now, because my 100K last year gave me one, but it never burst or anything. But it's just there. Like, it never went away, even after 6 weeks on a yacht. And I thought it would disappear, but it never went away. Don't care what they say. They say they'll go away after with rest, but no, it's not what happened.
Maybe you need to do some intense, long duration events to sort it out.
Right. Just like ironing it out. It dissipates. That's my plan. So I got lots of little niggle things. I went to the physio the other day and she said, okay, what do you need help with? I'm like, well, what did someone say the other day? It's head, shoulders, knees and toes. Because it was like my shoulder, my hip, my knee, and my ankles. None of them stop me running. None of them do any of that. They just all hurt at different times during my training in one way or another, or just getting out of bed in the morning. Just arthritis.
I reckon that, and this has happened before for me on races where I'm worried about something. So I've got this, hamstring thing going on now, and I'll be worried about that, and then that'll be perfect on the day, and it'll be other random thing that will actually pop up that I've never thought of or worried about before, and that's the thing that will pop up somewhere along the line. So I don't know how that works, but
it's mad.
Yeah.
I did have I would say the last few weeks I have been feeling fitter. Like, I feel quite fit mostly. There are days when you get up and you're like, oh gosh, how am I ever going to do this run? I can't even get out of bed because I'm so tired or whatever. And then I go for my first run for the day or something, and I just feel strong, and I feel not necessarily in the run, but just doing life. I feel fitter, healthier. I'm moving. I'm quite fluid, and I feel good. And it's that feeling that I always remember when I'm doing marathon training or other sorts of training, and you get to that part of you're doing the harder stuff and your body's sort of is starting to adjust. Yeah. And I feel like that. So it's good. It's a good place to be. I do have moments of I feel shit, but mostly have moments of feeling quite good. So I'm happy. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess having this last couple of weeks being really light and not running at all last week. When I went for a walk on Sunday,
be bouncing.
I actually felt really good, like cardio wise. Like, I'm looking at my heart rate and it's like, it's like I'm sitting on the couch and I'm walking. This is great. This is fantastic. This is what happens when you have a week off and you don't run every single day. You actually get a chance to recover and see what the work that you've put in.
It's like you can't get through all the pain you're feeling. Like, your body's really fit and healthy, but that immediate pain from the immediate exercise that you've been doing is very present. But I think you give that self a little bit of a rest and they dissipate. That immediate pain dissipates, but the effects of the work that you've been doing are still there. And I think that's what I love.
Yeah, and then it's like, oh wow, it does actually work. I do feel fitter.
I feel invincible. Maybe I could run 200 miles. Like run and walk. Run and walk. Walk a lot. Run a little bit and walk a lot. I did see a post the other day in Facebook, which was on the Delirious group, or in the Delirious group, from a competitor with 10 tips, and it included that running on the beach is a really good way to get a bit of distance happening, and that the beaches, it's the ones that are easy enough to run on, and you'll actually end up running further than you think you will on the beach because it's just flat and, I guess, reasonably hard underfoot in those places, and you can get quite a bit of distance out of the way, unlike some of the other terrain that we'll be covering. So I thought that was a pretty good tip.
Yeah, it's funny how people react to different things. I remember I was watching Stuart's video and he was talking about how sandy the first sections were. And I went, I don't even remember the sand. Like, was it? And thinking about it, I never tried to run in sand.
Yeah.
Like, if I hit sand, I just walk.
Like when it's soft, as opposed to
soft sand. Yeah. I don't even attempt to run. I just go, right, I'm in sort of power hike mode and I'll just walk it.
Yeah.
And I think because of that, I don't even feel that, like, it doesn't seem to bother me at all. So I just kind of, and it doesn't stand out to me, but I think, because I couldn't believe how much he mentioned it. I don't even remember it being a thing. I remember it being later a thing during that Mandalay to Mount
Claire, is it?
Mount Claire, yeah, that really tough section. I remember that being horrible because I had sand pouring into my shoes every 200 meters and having to empty them again. But I didn't remember it anywhere else. So it's funny, if you set like however you approach the different terrain with your mind, like if it's, how you see that. And it's funny that those long runs along the beach where it's quite hard. Yeah. I find those quite tough because the beach is on a little bit of an angle. And so I find that it's hard and a constant angle one way. So it's like I'm always going down a slope on the side.
Yeah, yeah. That can be a challenge.
Yeah, I don't know. It's all part of it, isn't it?
We've got a run here that I have been race director of and run a few times. It's a 50K, and it's along the coastline and on trails and beach. But at the very end, there is one big beach. It's 7 kilometres long. So you run 7 kilometres one way and it's the turn point, and you run 7 kilometres back the other way. And a 7 kilometre beach is a really long beach.
Yeah.
Because you can see it in the mist in the distance where you're turning. Then you can, it's like, anyway.
And it's like when you see the beach, you can't see any progress.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you just see it and it's just forever in the distance. And you don't see it, it's like getting any closer.
That's right, exactly. So it can play mind tricks, I think. Beaches can. Not to mention that beach in particular, one time we got caught in like an eddy. So it had this little water thing, and because the beach is so big and the eddy was so extensive, you didn't know you were. Like you're just running along on hard sand, water on one side, but unbeknownst to you, there's a big sort of thing of water, like another little canal coming up the other side, and by the time you were so far in, you either had to go back or you had to go through water to get out of it. It was that kind of, because you get this brain where I'm not focusing on anything else, it's one foot in the other. Just got to get through this beach. Anyway, beaches can be a challenge, but we'll see. We got plenty of that from what I know.
Plenty of that.
I've almost not looked at the map, so I don't need to do
one other thing I just remembered that I need to do.
Yes.
Because you're talking about beach, is I'm going to bring some earplugs.
Oh, from the wind?
Because
stop the wind.
Because the wind, not that it's going to, it might not happen again, but last year the wind through this section of beach was so loud for so long, it was just beating against my ears, and it became really quite almost like torture.
Oh, wow.
So I'm taking a few soft earplugs that if I get into that situation again, I can just drop them in. It's funny. I saw that in the video and I was like, oh, yes.
That's a good idea. It does remind me, one of my, I've got my bone conducting headphones for all those people who can't see. Oh, looks like they're stunning. Anyway, I've had them for quite a long time. I love them. They're great. And I was like, I'm buying doubles. So I got a cheap pair. So this is a cheap pair that I got the other day, just online. And they came with, and this was the funny bit, they came with earplugs, like little yellow earplugs. And they said in the little notes, this is to make them basically noise cancelling.
Noise cancelling.
I almost fell over. Because as you know, bone conductive ones don't cover your ears. But so maybe I can use those yellow ones to take them along.
I love that. Noise cancelling technology.
That's right. That's right. Anyway, I thought it was funny. So those headphones are both bone conductive and noise cancelling if I put these little plugs in. Anyway, made me laugh. All right. Enjoy
All
your continued. It feels like a long taper. Enjoy your long taper.
Yes, I'm reframing it as a long taper.
I love
Get
that.
to the start line with no pain. That'll be the goal.
Well, you're going to be doing a long run, so it should have a long taper, I reckon.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, I should talk
Maybe
to my
not
coach. Maybe
7
they can
weeks.
give me a long taper. No, I want to do some. I'm a bit jelly because you guys are all doing these quite big, adventurous things. I watched Stuart do one on Strava the other day. He did a 12-hour one through the night where he used like a service station as his aid station and got donuts and things. I thought it was funny. Yeah, like he just did this big 12-hour, like 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. around where he lives. And I was like, oh, that's a great idea. But I just feel like I'm rambling now. But I did think it was interesting. I was talking to my husband about it this morning. He goes, yeah, but I don't really want you running as a woman by yourself, through the somewhere where you'd be able to go and buy something because it's not as safe. And I'm like, when do we get to that situation? That's a bit sad. That
you just need to find someone mad enough to join you.
No, he won't. He won't come out for that long. He'll come out for about an hour, but that's about it.
So what you need to do then is go, right, I'm running here. I'm going to meet you at this time. So it's 2:00 in the morning. Meet me at this servo.
Yeah, you want to keep me safe, then you don't get to sleep either. And every hour we meet me somewhere else.
Problem solved. Leave your phone next to you. I will call you when I'm half an hour away. I expect you to be there waiting for me.
It's so funny. Anyway,
done.
We'll work something out. Thanks, Gabe, for sharing and allowing me to ramble. Appreciate it. I hope your long taper goes well and that the injury is like over in a week or so and you can choose to do whatever you want the next 4 weeks after that. Otherwise, we'll talk to you in a few weeks' time to see how it's gone before the big day. So
that sounds good.
For sharing.
We'll check in, probably a week before.
Scary.
All right. Thanks, Michelle.
Right. Thanks, Gabe.
We'll talk to you then.
And that's a wrap for another Delirious West athlete update. A huge thank you to the athletes for sharing their journeys and to you, our listeners, for joining us on this delirious adventure. Remember, it's not just about the finish line. It's about the journey, the community, and the moments that keep us moving forward. Keep rooting for our runners and tune in for next month's check-ins to see how their training is unfolding. If you're enjoying this series, we'd love to hear from you. Leave us a review and share the podcast with your friends. Let's all get a little delirious together. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode or an update. Connect with us on the website, on Facebook, or on Instagram. And we'd love to hear your stories and support you on your running journey. Stay strong, stay motivated, and keep pushing your limits. Until next time.